Hey guys, what's up? I'm Aaron Plessinger, professional motocross and supercross rider. I hold on here. I got into racing probably when I was about 3 years old, and my dad got me into it. He was a four-time national hare scrambler GNCC champion, and he wanted me to ride, so he got me a 50, and that's how I started. And I never really left the bike after that. So we went around doing some local races, and when we actually got serious about it, we started doing some motocross races and went to Loretta's. And then I liked woods so much that I couldn't get away from it, and I kind of stuck with woods and motocross from 2006 all the way to 2013. And I won my first GNCC in 2013 at Steel Creek, and then won a bunch of amateur nationals in 2013 too. So I actually, the end of 2012, I went to Matt Walker's, and that's kind of when I wanted to steer the motocross route and try my luck in that. And I did that, and Matt Walker really took me under his wing and taught me some stuff. And then we just went from there, and I ended up winning Loretta's that year. And then I went out to California and tested on the Star bike for a little bit, and they liked what they saw, so they picked me up, and that next year in 2014 I was on their bike full time, and didn't really do so good in 2014. Went to Loretta's. I think I got third in the 450 or the Open Pro Sport class, and I don't really know what I got in the 250 class, but after that I took some time off and moved to California, which is where I'm at now, and started training with Gareth Swanepoel, and we trained up until Monster Cup, and I went to Monster Cup and actually did really well. I went 1-1 and won that in 2014, and then after that my pro debut started at Anaheim 1, and it was a wake-up call for sure going into the pros. I didn't really know what to expect, but I did get fifth my first race, and then after that I followed that up with a podium at Anaheim 3, and then I went on to win my first outdoor race later that summer. So it was a pretty good rookie year. I got rookie of the year, and then 2016 didn't do too well. I lost the Supercross championship by I think 14 points, and that really hit me hard. And then went up to the outdoors and still did pretty well, but didn't do what I expected myself to do. But after that 2017 was really close to the Supercross championship again, and then outdoors kind of went the same way as 2016, not so great, but pretty good. And then this year actually got the Supercross championship, and I think that carried over to the outdoors, and I won that championship as well. So It was it's been a wild ride. I had my first child this year as well, and got engaged. So it's been a pretty wild ride, but it's been amazing. But through the amateurs, I did have to do a little bit of schoolwork. I it was it was hard at first in elementary school. My teachers didn't really like the fact that I went away for quite a while at times, and then I actually got homeschooled in sixth grade, and then yeah, we pretty much did school on the road while I was or while we were headed to races, and while I was at home, my dad wouldn't let me practice unless I unless I did school. So I would have to have it done before he got home, or we weren't going riding that day. But I balanced it pretty good. Got it done and got to ride, and actually went back to uh, public school in the first semester of ninth grade, and then realized you couldn't really do what I do going to school. So got homeschooled again, and then actually worked really hard at it, and graduated a year early, and got my diploma. So it was definitely tough, but um, school. My mom always says school comes first, and she meant that. And you know, I yeah, I listen to her most of the time, but you know, I how I manage my nutrition. I actually have meals for me out here now, which is a lot easier than being on the road and traveling a lot. So I found it a little hard do to eat fairly well in amateurs, just because you're on the road and you don't have really that much time to put towards nutrition. But always finding a good place, and some grilled chicken or some steak is always a good idea. And skipping the McDonald's or the Taco Bell. But no, yeah, it's definitely hard, but as long as you keep an eye on it and you're eating fairly well, it's it'll turn out pretty good. But um, being that this is, well, it's kind of a team sport. Motocross is, but overall it's individual. I my teammate for a long time, Cooper Webb, showed that to me, and when I raced him, he always used to love to brag about beating me, but when I showed him up a couple times, he he didn't like that too well. But we remained friends. But it's hard to it's somewhat hard to be a team player in an individual sport like we are. But you know, just watching your back and making sure you're doing whatever you need to do to win. That's the biggest goal, is watching out for yourself. And then, if I mean, not taking your teammates out is another thing, watching out for them on the track. But you can always, if they're in a championship battle, or if you get into some scuffles, they'll always have your back. Teammates will always have your back. But my first year in 15, my rookie year, I wasn't really in the championship hunt at that time, and Jeremy Martin was, and he kind of talked to me a little bit, and before we went out for some races, and I helped him out a lot. And it's hard. You want to win, but when you're not in championship hunt, like, well, when I wasn't in championship hunt like he was, it was my my responsibility to look out for him and make sure he did as well as he could, and I put my wheel in on his competitors. But no, no, it's hard, but you know, when you get to the pros, you find that teamwork is always the best work you can do, and working together instead of against each other is always the route to take. But getting sponsors definitely in the amateur ranks is one of the biggest things. My dad actually owned a motorcycle shop, so it wasn't too hard for me to get what I needed when I was younger. But when I did progress to 85s or 85s and 125s, it was a little harder, and I I had to step it up a lot. And you know, my dad would always reach out to a lot of the sponsors and just talk to them and say, hey, can you watch my kid or watch my son here at this race? I know he's going to do good. And you know, kind of it went well for a while, but I actually, in 2007, I actually picked up my actual first sponsor on my own, which was Yamaha. And they watched me, and the guys over there really liked what they saw, especially in the woods, which I was racing woods at the time. And I think my results kind of showed that I was going to be a good guy one day, and that kind of leads back to training and getting yourself prepared for all the races as well as you can, and you know, if you train as hard as you can up until the race, and you know you've done all that you can, and you can go out and leave it on the line, I think all the sponsors are really gonna take a liking in that. But so that's kind of my story and how I got where I am. And if you guys have any questions, I'd love to hear them.
Okay, guys, if anyone has a question, sorry if there's some feedback, but if anyone has a question, type it into the chat box and I'll open your mic, okay?
Where's the chat?
She's got your mic closed.
Where's the chat? I muted myself.
Did you find it?
I muted myself. Where's the chat box? Like that thing? Oh.
Your mic's open, buddy, so if you want to go ahead and ask a question, go ahead.
Hi.
Hey, buddy.
Hi. What?
On your name.
I'm Ted Payton.
Ask me a question.
I have a question.
Yeah, let's hear it, buddy.
What was your favorite Supercross track?
I think my favorite Supercross track was probably Indianapolis in 2016, where I got my first Supercross win.
Yeah, that was a nice track.
It was pretty rutted. It suited me pretty good.
Yeah, I raced the KTM Challenge at St. Louis this year.
That's pretty cool. I was on the West Coast, so I wasn't able to be at that one, but KTM challenges are pretty cool. I actually did KTM challenge in 2004 That was my first time at a Supercross race, and I was pretty starstruck.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. Did you get to meet a lot of guys?
Yeah.
Get a lot of autographs?
Yeah.
That's the fun part.
Okay, Ty, thank you for the question. Great question, buddy. Samantha Davis has a question for you.
Whenever you were younger in school, did you ever get told like you weren't gonna make it in the sport or anything?
Yeah, actually my 5th grade math teacher, it's weird that I still remember that, but she really didn't like me to leave the class and go on racing trips, and she actually told me that racing was a waste of time and I would never amount to anything and this and that, and I always told her she was wrong. But yeah, when I got on the first cover, or when I got on the cover of my first magazine, I actually brought it into her and just handed it to her, and she was really proud and really excited for me, and you know, I forgave her for all the stuff she said, but yeah, so I've gotten told that a couple times, but that was the the one that stood out the most.
That's what all my teachers have told me too.
You just got to keep pushing through it, prove them wrong.
Awesome. Thank you, Samantha. Okay, Rob's got a question. Rob, are you ready? Yeah. Okay, go
Aaron,
ahead.
congratulations on a great year, man. Just
Thank
curious, you transitioned from amateur to pro. What would you say was the biggest challenge you had to overcome, you know, with the travel and the testing and all the obligations? What would you say is the most difficult thing to accommodate?
I think the biggest thing for me was flying on the planes everywhere, back and forth, and sort of the training. I mean, my last year in amateur, I really trained hard, and but when we got to the pro ranks, it was every weekend you're racing, and then you're training in between the weeks, and you really don't get that much time for yourself and to kind of relax. So I think that was probably the biggest part, the travel and then the training in between.
That makes sense. Thanks.
Yep. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob. Okay, we've got our next question from, I know I'm here at GPF, so I know GPF has a bunch of kids there and they are ready to share. So GPF, let's go ahead, and then Tanner Payton, you're up next. Okay, buddy? So GPF, let's go.
What's up, guys?
Can you hear them okay? Are they coming through? Are you guys? Hold on.
Tasha, there's no volume from their mic.
Okay, hold on a second, guys. We'll come back to them. Ty, are you ready? Or who is it? Tanner, I think.
Hey, Aaron, I'll go ahead and take my turn now since while we're waiting on the others to get in there.
Okay.
So can you share with us, every time I've ever been around you, you have such a positive attitude and you are always smiling and joking. And can you share with us how you remain or maintain that attitude even through adversity?
Yeah. So I always try to keep a positive outlook on some stuff, on everything really, and that kind of grows on people that you're around, and whenever you're as smiley and as positive as me, it kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but it kind of makes everybody around you act a little bit more positive, I guess. So, so I learned that kind of just being around pretty much. I think my mom was really the biggest one that taught me that, and every time she would be around people, she would always have a smile on her face, and I've heard people tell her that her smile turns their mood around or turns their day around, and that kind of stuck with me, and I always try to keep a smile on my face and keep having fun, and when you're not having fun, you're kind of, I don't know. I always ride bad when I'm not having fun. So, or when I'm mad. So, I always try to keep from getting mad, and always try to keep a smile on my face. And I think that's credits some of my success.
Okay, Aaron, hold on. We're trying to get GPF ready to go here. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Tasha, I think Banks had a question. Banks, did you want to ask a question?
Okay. Oh, go ahead, Banks. Okay, guys, they're going to talk through mine, but you're going to see. Sorry. Turn that down. Okay, here. Can you turn that down? Sorry, did you get that?
Kind of. I didn't really hear what he said.
Hold on. Come here, Christopher. Here, mine's not working on that.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right, just want to ask if you got any sports you do as a hobby when you're like off season or not training?
I don't really play any other sports. I've tried just about every sport, and I really am not good at basketball. I'm not good at football. Not good at golf. Not good at really anything other than riding a dirt bike. I really like to fish. That's probably my biggest hobby, other than dirt bikes. But that kind of gets me away from thinking about dirt bikes all the time. And I play guitar, so that kind of gets my mind off things a lot. And then yeah, like I said, I've tried to play basketball a couple times, and I'm not that good. I'm horrible actually. So yeah, I guess fishing would probably be the biggest one.
Awesome, thank you. We have one more from GPF, and I'm so sorry about the feedback. We're trying to fix that.
Hey, Aaron. I wanted to say hi because it's been a really long time. And do you play Fortnite?
Yes. Well, I did, and then everybody else got good, and I kind of stayed the same. So now I've switched over and play a few other games, but yeah.
Okay, Banks, if you're ready.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
No, what's going on?
How you doing?
Now, I know a couple pros that when they let me think, that when they made it a job instead of having fun, you know, like going out and like free ride and, you know, going in the hills and all that, or, you know, just even after starts, just putting around and, you know, doing the transfer or something. Anyway, did you ever get burnout in between there? Because when I was living with Alessi, you know, it felt like everybody was getting burnt out that they had been doing it for so long.
There's been some times where I've gotten a little overwhelmed with everything that's going on, but you know, I always come back to the fact that I'm doing what I love every single day, and like riding my dirt bike every single day, and that's better than what I could be doing. And but I mean, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, like I just think back on what I could be doing, and if I wasn't able to ride my dirt bike for a living, and that kind of brings the fun back into it, because if you really think on that, you if you didn't get to ride your dirt bike every day, like some of us get to, it's pretty hard, and going from riding your dirt bike every day to not would be a real bummer. So that kind of brings the fun back into it, and yeah, I just try to keep it light and have fun whenever I can on my dirt bike, and not make every day wide open training day. You know, I sometimes I'll just go play ride sometimes, and you know, you got to do your work, but you got to have fun with it too.
What's your favorite place you've ridden? Like, it could not track wise, or just favorite place you've ridden.
I think shoot,
Dreamland.
that's a fun track, but it's pretty scary sometimes. I think for the jump side, yeah, that's probably the funnest track. But for riding, it would probably be Steel Creek GNCC in Morganton, North Carolina. They have some really good dirt, and you get to ride through some creeks.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
Awesome, thanks. Okay, we've got Ty Payton and then Tanner Payton. Both have questions. So if one of you guys want to go ahead and unmute your mics, and then Chantel LeBlanc is after that.
What was your? Why are you going to 450 right away after your championship?
It was a hard decision, but I think I've liked the 450 a lot coming up through amateur ranks, and you know, I've wanted to get back on one since since I got off of them in 2014. And, you know, I think the 450 will suit me a lot more than the 250, just because I don't have to wring its neck to go fast on it. And, you know, I just think I can do some good things on a 450, and yeah, it's time for a change, I guess.
I wish you could have rode for my dad's team.
Yeah.
So does he.
Thanks, Tanner. Ty, did you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
You know who my dad is?
Do what?
Do you know who my dad is?
Judging by the last name, I think so. Does his name start with an M?
Yeah.
Yep, I know him pretty good.
All right. Thanks.
Yep.
All right, Chantel, you're up.
Okay, so I'm traveling today and I have the computer. So Matt is on his phone and he texted me and said, ask Aaron who his favorite training partner is.
Oh, it's got to be old Matthew. It's got to be Matt LeBlanc for sure. He might be struggling with an injury right now, but hey, when he comes back, want to be training like dogs.
That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, Wanda has a question. And then if anyone else, please put in the chat log. If not, we'll start to wrap up here shortly.
Hi, Aaron. My name is Wanda Ezel. I'm the administrator with On Track, so I haven't had a chance to talk to you during all this process yet. I heard you say that you played guitar, and I'm a musician myself. So I just wanted to know what kind of guitar you play.
I actually have a few guitars. I have Fender Stratocaster, and then I actually Monster got me a guitar for the championship, and it's made by Ed Foley, Foley Guitars, and that one's pretty cool. And then I have a new age Martin, and then I think a 1960 Martin.
Well, you said the magic word right there.
Yeah. So that one.
Yeah, we're a Martin family ourselves, so I always judge people. No, I'm just kidding. What kind of guitars? I'm just kidding. I don't really. But my other and more serious question is of course, I'm here about these kids and their educations. So could you just kind of give them some tips on what maybe helped you to kind of balance between racing and getting your education? Did you keep yourself a schedule? Did you work consistently each day? How did you kind of manage your time?
Yeah. So my parents kind of kept a schedule for me. So when I wasn't traveling so much, my dad would go work from probably 9 to about probably 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and he would always say, if schoolwork ain't done by the time I get home, we ain't going riding. So that would always give me a lot of encouragement to get it done and go riding after that. But when I was on the road, it would usually be just me and my dad, and I would just sit on the long rides to the tracks or wherever we needed to go, and I would just sit and study and do my work, and try and get as much done as I could. And by the time that we got to where we were going to, I had some time to play around and ride for the next few days. So that's pretty much how I got most of it done. And then I'm just working in between riding and training.
Thank you.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks, Wanda and Aaron, for that. We got 2 more questions, it looks like. So Christian Nyman, go ahead and unmute your mic and ask your question, bud.
Did you train more? When you were a kid, did you train more or race more?
I would say I raced more, just because I did GNCCs and motocross, and I was gone pretty much every weekend out of the year. And my dad, he had a hard time getting me to train when I was real young. But once I realized that was what I needed to do, I would say it kind of balanced out the racing with the training.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, buddy.
Awesome. Great question. Okay. Ronan is up next. You ready, guys?
Okay, yeah. Can you hear us?
Yep.
Oh, hi, Aaron. Nice to meet you. This is Ronan's first year racing, and he has a question for you.
Do you have any tips for me when I go to Mini-O's? Because this is my first year going there.
Yeah, for sure. I would say, do a lot of training before you get there, obviously. But
He trains with Gibbs. Do you remember him?
With who was that?
Joshua Gibbs.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I know that name pretty good. But do as much as you can before the race, and then good starts, practice on your starts, because their races are short and there's a lot of them. So practice on your starts a lot and get them dialed in, and then just I guess try your best and do whatever you can to get the win. It's Mini-O's is a hard race, and there's a lot of good amateurs there. So you want to prepare yourself right, and I think you'll do great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, we got another question that just popped in. Caitlin Jacobs, if you can unmute yours, and then guys, we promised Aaron we wouldn't take more than an hour of his time, so we have just a few more minutes with him. So if you got those questions, go ahead and get them in there so we can wrap this up for him. But Caitlin, go ahead and unmute your mic for us.
All right. Would you ever see yourself going and wanting to race ISDE for USA?
Yeah, I actually would love to do that. They actually asked me, I think it was the year that I was going pro in Supercross. So my team manager didn't really like that and didn't let me go. So to get another chance and go race that race would be a dream come true. I think I would really like that race.
Do you ever see yourself going and racing any more GNCCs?
Yeah. Actually, I always talk about it with my trainer, and he says when I'm done with this, we can go try our luck at GNCCs.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Caitlin, for that question. Thank you, everyone, for your great questions, your participation, and the respect that you showed Aaron and everyone else. And sorry for all the technical difficulties. This was our first ever webinar, and Aaron was so lucky to be a part of it and did such a great job. So thank you again. And if there's no other questions, or Aaron, you got anything else you wanna say to the crowd out there?
Thanks for being a part of this, and thanks for letting me speak to you guys and give you my 2 cents. So thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.